Good evening and welcome to the March meeting of the Committee of Adjustments. Before I begin, I would like to read the territorial acknowledgement. We are gathered in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, work together, and as a community. I'd like to introduce my fellow committee members here. To my right is Steve Miller, Wayne Roth, and Christine Collier. With us this evening as well is Cameron Miller, our planner in the township. And my name is Tyler Bowman, and I'll be chairing this committee tonight. We are an independent body appointed by Wilmot Township Council. We have the power to make minor changes to existing zoning regulations and to approve some changes to existing non-conforming uses and to give consent. Each applicant will be notified in writing of the decision within 10 days. With the decision will be instructions on how it can be appealed. Any decision made by this committee can be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, who will then hold a meeting and make a final decision. Only the applicant and certain prescribed public agencies can appeal the committee's decision. If the decision on a minor variance is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date of this meeting. If a decision on a consent item is not appealed, it becomes final and binding after 20 days from the date the decision is mailed. This evening, the format of this meeting will be as follows. Cameron Miller will introduce our application. The applicant will be free and invited to come speak if they would like to provide any additional information. And following this, anyone in the audience will have the opportunity to speak for or against this application. The committee members may then question the applicant, and I will ask them to make a final decision following. So to start this meeting, I'd like to ask if there's any disclosures of pecuniary interests under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Seeing none, at this time I'll invite Cameron to introduce our first application.
Yes, thank you very much. The first and only application tonight is a consent application BO2/24 concerning 3301 Herbs Road. So this application is proposing to establish a right-of-way over an existing lane at 3301 Herbs Road in favor of two vacant parcels which are on opposite sides of the laneway. So the existing laneway, which is the subject of this application, serves an existing residence, being 3301 Herbs Road. And as shown on the sketch which was provided in the report, there are two existing lots on opposite sides of the laneway which are held in common ownership with the owners of 3301 Herbs Road. The owners are seeking to eventually develop the vacant parcels, and rather than propose two new entrances off of Herbs Road, they're instead seeking to formalize a permanent right-of-way over the existing laneway, which would then serve each lot. The lands that would benefit from the proposed right-of-way are both residentially zoned, so they would have the potential to be developed with residential uses. They are, however, both regulated by the Grand River Conservation Authority, so any development of each site would be subject to approval from GRCA. The GRCA has, however, provided support for development of the easterly lot, which has been assigned a municipal address of 3299 Herbs Road, but there are presently no plans to develop that westerly lot. But in theory, if GRCA were to be supportive of development of that lot, it would also have development potential for residential use. In circulating the application, staff did not receive any concerns or comments regarding the subject application. However, in circulating the Region Waterloo, they also had no objections, but they requested a mutual access agreement to be provided. We've then implemented that as a condition of consent, meaning that prior to final approval, that will have to be dealt with. So again, staff are recommending approval to consent.
Thank you, Cameron. Would the applicant like to speak? No? And we don't have anyone joining us online. So I'd like to ask, are there any questions from our committee members? No? So could I have a motion from the committee on this application? Moved by Steve, seconded by Christine. Any comments or no? All in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. And so the last order of business tonight will be the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. So could I get a motion to approve these minutes by Mr. Roth, seconded by Christine? All in favor? And that's carried as well. So Cameron, is there new business for next week?
No,
or
but
next month? Sorry.
Yeah, we'll look ahead to the, I guess that would be April now. April meeting, just confirming availability for the potential on a April 3rd meeting,
Okay.
ideally. Okay, great.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's close that for tonight. Thank you.